Dumbledore, Dumbledore, is he actually Spider-Man? Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. He's a man. Look out. Here comes Dumbledore. Albus, Wulfric, Percival, Brian, Dumbledore. How can he possibly be Spider-Man? A radioactive acromantula? Perhaps I'm just saying that Tom Holland is going to be playing a younger version of the character in a movie. Or maybe, just maybe, the story of how Dumbledore becomes the man he is identical to how Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man. First, when you compare their powers, it sounds ridiculous to compare a wizard who needs a wand to Spider-Man, who is one of the most powerful characters in all the Marvel comics, in part because of his super speed and strength, which aren't really things you think about with Dumbledore, but at the same time, in Half-Blood Prince, he is able to move and swim to the cave much faster than your average 115-year-old. And with the sudden agility of a much younger man, Dumbledore slid from the boulder, landed in the sea, and began to swim, with a perfect breaststroke, towards the dark slit in the rock face, his lit wand held in his teeth. But I think when we're talking about the power of Dumbledore and Spider-Man, so often it's about how much they're holding it back. Like whenever they're fighting, they're always pulling their punches, and they never kill if they can avoid it. And Dumbledore at some point should have been Minister of Magic, but he was afraid of what the power of the position would do to him, that it would corrupt him. Now, I'm not saying all Spideys are afraid to lead, but there's a reason why so often in these stories he's just our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
It's kind of a Springsteen-y working class hero vibe that I dig.
Plus, they're both just so polite, even comically so sometimes. Like Dumbledore stops and talks with his would-be assassins as if they're talking about the weather. He offers Draco Malfoy protection as he has his wand held to him, threatening to kill him, and even his last word is,
Please.
and Peter is always trying to help out the little guy, and in every situation wants to save everybody. And we see the culmination of this in No Way Home when we see all the live action versions of Spider-Man come together to try to save their villains rather than just send them back to their universes to die or kill them themselves. And of course, if I'm going to be bringing up No Way Home, I have to bring up the moment where Tobey's Spider-Man stops Tom's Spider-Man from killing Green Goblin. Oh man, that look. He knows. He knows what he's going through and he understands, but he also knows better than to let him do it, because he knows how much more damaging it'll be if he lets his younger counterpart kill the Green Goblin. Also, while I'm talking about No Way Home and how polite Spider-Man could be, I just wanted to give a quick little shout out to Andrew's Spidey apologizing for something that's just a little out of his control.
I just thought you was gonna be black. Oh man, I'm sorry.
Another big part of Dumbledore's story that is just classic Spider-Man is also just that shame that the two of them feel for something that happens early in their hero's journey. For Spidey, this usually comes in the form of him trying to get revenge on Uncle Ben's killer, as it just kind of starts to become a rampage, before he learns what it truly is to be Spider-Man.
Revenge Rampage!
And with Dumbledore, this comes in the form of his obsession with the Deathly Hallows after feeling responsible for his sister's death, just an obsession with bringing his family back together. Even after he dies and is talking with Harry in King's Cross, he's telling him the story, but he's telling him like he's a little boy who's scared to get reprimanded. So there's no way he told anybody about this while he was alive. He just took the burden all on his own, which that's a classic Spider-Man move if I've ever seen one. At this point, I'm sure you're thinking, okay, this is cute, man, but there are a lot of characters you can describe like this. What even made you think about this connection? Fair point, and thanks for sticking around this long. Hit the like button. You must be kind of enjoying it. But to answer that question, I'm going to be reading a quote from Deathly Hallows, and this, above all else, will show how Dumbledore and Spider-Man's heroes' journeys are exactly the same. Gellert, your point about wizard dominance being for the Muggles' own good. This, I think, is the crucial point. Yes, we have been given power, and yes, that power gives us the right to rule. but it also gives us responsibilities over the ruled. We must stress this point. It will be the foundation stone upon which we build. Where we are opposed, as we surely will be, this must be the basis of all our counter-arguments. We seize control for the greater good. And from this it follows that where we meet resistance, we must use only the force that is necessary and no more. This was your mistake at Durmstrang, but I do not complain, because if you had not been expelled, we would never have met. You hear it? Maybe this'll jog some memories.
With great power comes great responsibility.
That if you could do good things for other people, you had a moral obligation to do those things.
And with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
Yes, we have been given power, and yes, that power gives us the right to rule, but it also gives us responsibility over the ruled. Dumbledore's origin is defined by the same quote that defines Spider-Man most. And just like Peter Parker, he doesn't truly understand the words until he loses a family member in a way that he will blame himself for the rest of his life. And once he understands this, he becomes so much more than a hero who takes on powerful villains. He becomes a rallying point so that everyone can feel that they can stand up and fight for what is right.
Oh yeah, I got something for your ass! You mess with Spidey, you mess with New York!
Wait, I just realized that this makes Harry Miles Morales then, the mentee who has to step into the hero role and, becomes that rallying point for their communities when their mentor isn't able to. And, and Miles adds the ability to turn invisible and electrocute people, which Spider-Man can't do. And Harry has the invisibility cloak and a lightning bolt scarred into his forehead too. Man, I thought the joke was that Harry Potter was supposed to just be Star Wars, but now I'm wondering how much of it is just ripping off Marvel. Also, for one last point, I think we kind of forget sometimes just how much of a goofball that Dumbledore really is. One, because he and Harry usually only have like one conversation per book, but also the fact that it's always such serious actors who are being cast as Dumbledore. You know what I think is the most Dumbledoriest thing I could see him doing? Hey, that's not the clip. Though I will die on the hill of Dumbledore loving that joke, but y'all know what's coming, so let's just hit it. Oh man, I hope they let Lithgow be a goofball in the show, Share this video around, let's blow it up, if you want to show the showrunners we want Lithgow to be goofy. At the end of the day, though, we're just telling the same story of two young men who can't truly comprehend their powers until they lose someone near and dear to them. For Dumbledore, that's Ariana, and after Aberforth punches him at her funeral and Grindelwald flees the country, he is truly alone. And a lean, silent figure slowly fades into the gathering darkness, aware at last that in this world, with great power, there must also come great responsibility. That's all I got for you guys today, though. Let me know in the comments section if you're seeing any other similarities with Dumbledore and Spider-Man, if there's anything that I left out. Also, which Spider-Man actor do you think would do the best Dumbledore? Personally, I think I'd pick Toby, but given the day, I'm sure that there's a great argument for Andrew or Tom also. But if you enjoyed the video today, please drop a like, subscribe if you want more like this, and I'll see you next time on STV.